I didn't follow her. I didn't even flinch when the elevator doors shut between us. She stood there holding that tiny overnight bag like it was a ticket to freedom. Hair still wet from the shower I installed. Wearing the hoodie I bought her after that cold night in Asheville. She didn't say goodbye. She didn't even look back. But the elevator mirrored her face perfectly before it closed, smug. Like she thought this was a test. Like she expected me to sprint down the hallway, barefoot and pathetic, begging her not to go. She didn't know I already saw the receipt. 2 dinners, 1 hotel room, charged to my card. I hadn't confronted her. Not yet. I needed to be sure. I needed one last thread to pull. So I waited. Waited until she looked me in the eye and lied. She said she was going to her sister's. Her sister lives in Ohio. The receipt was from a rooftop hotel in our city, 15 minutes from our front door. And the name next to hers on the bill? D. Marlin. Her old grad school study buddy. The one with the obnoxious beard and even more obnoxious trust fund. So when she said, "I just need space, okay?" and I nodded like some spineless idiot, she thought I was being understanding. Thought I was folding like usual. But I wasn't nodding in agreement. I was nodding because I'd already made the call. The one to her sister. The one to a locksmith. The one to his wife. Yeah, she has no idea I found her. So no, I didn't chase Mallory down that hallway. I didn't press the elevator button or scream her name like a tragic romance movie. I closed the door, locked it, sat down on the couch, and waited, because I knew the next 24 hours were going to flip her world upside down. And when that elevator came back up, she wouldn't be smiling anymore. I didn't sleep that night. I didn't even lie down. I just sat there, on the couch she picked out, in the apartment we signed for together, staring at the faint outline of her coffee mug still sitting by the sink. She always left it there, never rinsed it. Some almond milk foam clinging to the side like it had rights. It used to annoy me. Now, it just made me sick. At 2:12 a.m., my phone lit up. "You up?" The text was from her. Not, "Hey." Not, "I'm safe." Not even a fake apology. Just those 2 cold little words. "You up?" I didn't answer. By 2:20, she texted again. "I left my charger in the bedroom. Can you bring it downstairs?" That one made me laugh. Not a real laugh. The bitter kind. The "are you freaking kidding me" kind. I didn't reply. Instead, I took the charger, cut it in half with kitchen scissors, and tossed it in the trash next to the receipts I had already printed. Because yeah, I printed everything. The dinner tab, the hotel check-in, the bar receipt with her signature next to his. Hers always loops on the Y. It was unmistakable. And the invoice from a spa booking under his name with her initials in the notes field. Hot Stone Couples Massage, M&M, Mallory, and Marlin. She always thought she was clever. At 2:47 a.m., she called. I didn't answer. She called again, and again. 18 missed calls by 3:15. I just let the screen light up the dark room like a slow burn fire. At 4:03 a.m., she left a voicemail. Her voice wasn't smug anymore. It was sharp, angry. "Elwood, I know you're up. This is childish. Just answer me." Childish. Right. Because I was the child here. By the time sunrise cracked through the blinds, I'd already packed a duffel bag with the essentials. Not mine, hers. Her high-end skincare, she wouldn't even let me touch. The necklace her mom gave her. Her "don't wrinkle this" silk blouse. All of it. I laid it by the door, right next to a plain manila envelope. No note. Just hard evidence. Every printout, every photo, everything I'd found. Then I texted her just 3 words. "Come get it." No explanation. No emotion. Just that. The knock came 20 minutes later. She didn't expect the locks to be changed. She banged. She called my name. She used that fake sweet voice she only brings out when she's cornered. "Elwood, come on. Let's talk. I just want my stuff." I opened the door exactly 3 inches. Just enough to slide the bag across the floor. Her fingers reached for the envelope, but I pulled it back. "Read it later," I said. In private. She tried to push the door open, but it didn't budge. I held it firm. For once. Her eyes shifted. That fake confidence was slipping. "This isn't like you," she said. Exactly. That was the point. She left in silence. Not a single word. No apology. No tantrum. Not even a fake tear. But I saw her look back through the glass once. And in that 1 second, I swear, she finally understood that I wasn't playing anymore. But it was too late. Because the envelope didn't just hold what I knew. It held what his wife knew too. I didn't go to work that day. I couldn't. I mean, what was I going to do? Walk in and pretend everything was normal? Joke about traffic while knowing my wife was texting some guy about room service and body scrubs just days ago? No, I stayed home. I sat on the couch like it was my command center, phone in hand, and just watched it all burn from the front row. At 11:14 a.m., I got the first message from Marlon's wife. Her name was Tessa. I'd found her through some light online digging after I saw his name on the receipts. Took all of 20 minutes. She was easy to find. Real estate agent, polished smile, 2 golden retrievers, and a painfully sweet family-first Instagram bio. One DM from me with the words, "Do you know who your husband had dinner with last Thursday?" was enough to crack the dam wide open. She called me. I picked up. Elwood. Her voice trembled, but it was controlled. "I got your message. And I think you and I are dealing with the same 2 snakes." That sentence right there, that was the moment everything changed. Because suddenly I wasn't alone in this. I wasn't crazy or insecure or imagining things. There was another spouse on the other side of this nightmare, going through the exact same betrayal. And she wasn't interested in just crying over it either. She wanted truth. All of it. We exchanged screenshots. Side-by-sides. Her husband's travel history. My wife's work events. Their messages. Photos. One of them was a selfie. Mallory kissing Marlon's cheek, holding a hotel key card up like it was a trophy. The date stamp on that image. The same night she told me she was at Shayla's for a wine night. Tessa kept sending. I kept reading. And the more I read, the more something inside me cracked. I wasn't even mad anymore. I was hollow. I'd given this woman nearly a decade of my life. I bought her cold medicine at 2 a.m. when she had the flu. I held her dad's hand at his funeral. I skipped my own promotion ceremony because she had a panic attack before dinner with her mother. And this is what I got. Some budget romance novel played out behind my back. Around noon, Tessa asked if we could meet in person. At first, I hesitated. I mean, this was already spiraling into something I didn't expect. But then she said something that gave me chills. They're still seeing each other. They think we don't know. Let's not scream. Let's plan. Plan. That word was like lightning. Because that's what Mallory and Marlon had been doing all along. Planning. Sneaking. Lying. Coordinating down to the hour while I sat here making her lunch and folding our towels into thirds because she liked them neat. So I agreed. We set a time. That evening, 7:30 p.m. Public place, quiet enough to talk, neutral ground. Mallory still hadn't texted since picking up her bag. I figured she was sitting somewhere with Marlon, spinning her version of the story, painting me as the pathetic, clingy husband who couldn't satisfy her intellectually or emotionally. Or maybe she was pretending she needed space while secretly slipping into bed with him again, thinking she'd come back to me once she was done processing. But I had news for her. There was no back. Because now it wasn't just a marriage falling apart. It was a reckoning. A very organized, silent, and thoroughly documented reckoning. And she had no idea that the next time she saw my face, it would be from across the table, with her lover's wife sitting beside me. I showed up early. I always do. I hate being late, even to my own humiliation. The place Tessa chose wasn't flashy. It was one of those quiet downtown cafes that plays acoustic covers of 90s hits and overcharges for oat milk. I sat by the window, fidgeting with a sugar packet like it was a grenade I didn't know how to throw. She walked in like she'd just come from a funeral. Black coat, tied hair, no makeup. Not that it mattered. She looked like a woman who'd aged 10 years in 1 week. But her eyes? They were sharp, determined. No tears, no wobble. Just fury in a cage. We didn't shake hands. Didn't need to. We knew what we were. War veterans of the same invisible battle. She ordered chamomile tea. I got black coffee. We sat in silence for a moment, letting the awkwardness settle like dust before either of us moved. "I confronted him this morning," she said, stirring her tea even though she hadn't added anything to it. "Told him I knew. He didn't even try to deny it." I nodded, throat dry. Did he admit to Mallory? She gave a bitter smile. He claimed it was a moment of weakness. One that happened 5 different times, in 3 different zip codes, apparently. That landed hard. 5 times. My wife. My freaking wife. I wanted to scream, but I just clenched my jaw. I'd cried enough. I wasn't giving her any more tears. "I told him to pack a bag," she said. "He's staying in a hotel now. I canceled his access to our joint accounts. Changed the locks. Sent an email to his mother, too. Figured she should know who her son really is. There was something both horrifying and satisfying about the way she said it. So casual, so surgical. Like she'd become someone new overnight. I haven't spoken to Mallory since I gave her the envelope. I muttered, staring into my coffee. I think she thought I'd chase her. That I'd fight to keep her from leaving. I always used to. But this time, I let her walk. Tessa looked at me for a long moment. You didn't let her walk. You set her free to drown in her own lies. That line hit me so hard I had to look away. Then she pulled something out of her purse, photos, screenshots, a printed email, and finally, a tiny black notebook. This is his, she said. A travel log. Marlon keeps notes on everything. I found it in his office drawer. She opened to a page. Dates, times, hotel room numbers. Notes like M, wore red, and E's out of town, safe window. I scanned the page and found it. My name, E. That's how they referred to me. Like I was a calendar conflict. Like I was background noise. There was one line I couldn't stop staring at. He doesn't suspect a thing. Too passive to notice. Bless him. Bless him. That broke me. I closed the notebook, my hands trembling. Tessa didn't flinch. I want to make this public, she said. Not social media, but real. Consequences. Divorce filings. Financial exposure. Mutual friends. They've been playing us like fools. I stared at her. You're not scared of the fallout? She smirked. They burned the house down. I'm just lighting the path through the ashes. We sat there for a long time after that. Not really talking. Just two strangers drinking hot beverages that tasted like betrayal and strategy. And when we finally stood to leave, she said one last thing. Let them enjoy their freedom. Let them taste what they traded loyalty for. But when it all crumbles, and it will, make sure they know exactly who opened the door for it. And just like that, she was gone. But not me. No, I was just getting started. I don't know what it says about me that I felt closer to Tessa in 2 hours than I had to Mallory in the last 2 years. Maybe it's trauma bonding. Or maybe it's just what happens when someone finally tells you the truth straight. No filters, no flattery, no manipulation. Just the facts, as sharp and cold as glass. The next morning, everything accelerated. I don't even remember waking up. I just remember staring at my phone and seeing the unread messages piling up like a digital guilt trip. 10 from Mallory. 3 missed calls. 1 voicemail I still haven't played. The last text she sent said, I think we should talk. I've had time to think. Think. They always say that after they've run out of other people's beds. But the thing that rattled me most wasn't her messages. It was the one from Shayla, her best friend. The same Shayla who had once sworn to me she'd always keep Mallory grounded. The same Shayla who, conveniently, never liked Marlon and always thought he was slime. Yeah, her. She texted, Hey Elwood, can we talk privately? Just you and me. I owe you something. I didn't answer at first. I figured it was more damage control. Maybe Mallory had recruited her to soften me up. Maybe she wanted to guilt trip me into seeing both sides. But something felt different about the wording. I owe you something. Not an apology. Something. So I agreed. I met her at a sandwich shop 3 blocks from my place. Neutral territory again. I sat by the window, like always, so I could see her coming. She looked nervous. No makeup. Hoodie pulled up. Sunglasses, even though it was cloudy. That alone told me this wasn't a social visit. She sat down, didn't even order anything, and immediately said, I didn't know how bad it was. I swear to God, Elwood, I didn't. I didn't say anything. I just waited. She opened her purse and pulled out a flash drive. This, she said, sliding it across the table, is from Marlon's bachelor party 2 months ago. I wasn't there, obviously, but my friend was hired to do photos. She's a freelancer. She didn't know who Mallory was when she sent me a few samples from the event, just for fun. Elwood, Mallory's in them. That stopped me cold. I stared at the flash drive like it was radioactive. She told me she was at a spa retreat with her sister that weekend. I said slowly. Shayla nodded. She wasn't. And you weren't supposed to know. No one was. Marlon kept it all quiet. But your wife didn't exactly lay low. That's when she pulled out her phone and showed me one of the photos. There was Mallory, in a red dress, sitting on Marlon's lap, his hand on her thigh, laughing, head back, comfortable, like she belonged there, like they belonged. I don't even remember how I reacted. My hands went numb. My jaw felt wired shut. I wanted to throw the table across the room, but all I did was nod. Numbly, like a broken puppet accepting its role in the show. Shayla reached over and touched my wrist. I didn't show you this to hurt you. I showed you because you deserve to know. And because I'm done covering for her. She's not who she used to be, Elwood. You didn't change, she did. That was the second time someone had said that to me. And this time, I believed it. I left with the flash drive in my pocket. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't even feel angry anymore. I felt surgical. That night, I booted up my laptop and opened the files. And as I clicked through photo after photo of the woman I thought I knew wrapped around another man, something inside me hardened into stone. Because she wasn't going to come home to a conversation. She was going to come home to a consequence. She came back 2 days later like nothing happened. I was in the kitchen pretending to scroll my phone when I heard the lock click. Her copy still worked, for now. I didn't look up. I just waited as she walked in, soft footsteps like she was trying to gauge the temperature of the room before she spoke. Elwood, she said gently, setting her purse down like she was in a therapist's office. I think we need to talk. She had no idea I already knew everything. Not just the hotels, not just the photos, but the hidden side of her I wasn't supposed to see. The way she weaponized silence. The way she rewrote history in real time. The way she left out pieces of herself like expired food in the back of the fridge, stuff I was never supposed to find. And now, she stood there, acting like she was the one with clarity. I looked up slowly. Talk. Now you want to talk? She gave that practiced nod. The one she used on customer service calls when she wanted to seem calm but firm. She sat across from me, folded her hands, and said, I know things got messy. I know I hurt you, but I needed time to figure out what I really want. That was it. That was the line. What I really want. I tilted my head. And did Marlon help you figure it out? Her face cracked. Just a flicker. But I saw it. Her pupils shrank. Her breath hitched. She recovered fast, but not fast enough. I don't know what you mean, she said too quickly. I stood up, walked to the counter, and pulled the flash drive from the drawer. Set it on the table like a loaded weapon. Funny, I said, because he seemed to know exactly where you were that night you claimed you were with your sister. She didn't touch the drive, didn't even look at it. Elwood, that's not what it looks like. I laughed. I actually laughed. It startled both of us. You know what's wild? I said, you didn't just cheat. You choreographed it. You had codes. You had backup lies. You timed your exits. I mean, my God, you wrote, he doesn't suspect a thing in a man's travel log like I was some kind of sitcom punchline. Her jaw dropped. That one hit home. I saw the color drain from her face. Where did you get that? She whispered. I had coffee with his wife, I said, like I was talking about the weather. She's fantastic, by the way. Sharp, civil, smarter than both of you combined. Mallory stood up suddenly, her hands trembling. You don't get to spy on me. You don't get to. I cut her off. I wasn't spying. I was surviving. She opened her mouth to speak again, but nothing came out. She just stood there, stunned, caught. And I swear, for the first time, I saw it hit her that I was no longer the man who begged her to stay. That Elwood was gone, left in that hotel room where she dropped her red dress on the floor and thought no one would ever know. I took a breath. Calm. Cold. There's no fight, Mallory. No argument. You made your choices. This, I tapped the flash drive, is just the receipt. She stared at me like a stranger. Maybe I was. I pointed to the door. I've already spoken to a lawyer. You'll be served within the week. I don't want revenge. I want release. She hesitated, like she was waiting for me to change my mind. For the old version of me to come crawling out and say please don't leave like I used to. But that man was already buried, alongside every promise she ever broke. When she finally turned and walked out, I didn't stop her. I locked the door behind her. This time for good. The next 48 hours were eerily quiet. No texts, no calls, no angry voicemails or crocodile tears. I expected something, maybe a last-ditch confession or some dramatic monologue about how she didn't mean to fall for him. But there was nothing, just silence. It was louder than any scream. That's how I knew she was scrambling. She wasn't trying to fix things, she was calculating the fallout. Mallory always ran scenarios in her head like a chess player. Who knew what? Who might talk? Who could be managed? And me? I was always the pawn. Predictable. Too soft to strike back. The guy who folds. The guy who forgives. The guy who makes room in the closet even when his side is shrinking. But not this time. This time, I told everyone. I started with the people who mattered, my family, our mutual friends, my boss. Not in a petty way, not with drama, just facts, receipts, calm, clinical, brutal honesty. A few raised eyebrows, a lot of long silences, but no one defended her. Not one person. Then came the final step. I hosted dinner. Yeah, sounds insane, right? Hosting a dinner 2 days after your wife walks out for another man. But I wasn't celebrating. I was reclaiming my space, my name, my story. 6 people, 3 couples, our oldest friends, the ones who always heard her version first. I cooked the same meal I made the night she told me she was going to Shayla's. I even opened a bottle of wine she liked, because I wasn't letting her own that either. When everyone sat down, I didn't even wait for appetizers. I laid it all out. Everything. The hotels, the photos, the flash drive, the logbook, the texts, the fact that she wasn't at a retreat, she was at Marlon's bachelor party. And the look on their faces, God, it wasn't just shock. It was shame. Not at me, at themselves. For never asking questions. For not seeing the signs. For believing her when she said I was too sensitive or overthinking again. One of them, Julie, her college roommate, even started crying. She told me you were controlling, she said. That you tracked her phone. That you made her feel small. I shook my head. I didn't even know the password to her phone. And that was it. The veil dropped. Mallory had been rewriting our marriage in real time to every person around us. Painting me as the villain so she could be the escapee. And it worked. For a while. But now, I was holding the pen. After the dinner ended, after everyone hugged me and promised they had my back, I stood alone in the kitchen and poured myself one last glass of that wine. I held it up toward the empty space where her photo used to hang and whispered the words she never expected to hear. Thank you. Because if she hadn't left, I would have kept shrinking, bending, apologizing for sins I never committed. She taught me how to be small. But in the end, her betrayal forced me to stand tall. The irony? It's almost funny. She thought walking out gave her power, but all it did was give me permission. She finally texted me again a week later. It was a simple message, the kind you send when you don't know how to clean up the wreckage. Can we meet? Just talk. No drama. No drama. That's rich. Coming from someone who built a whole secret life behind my back and thought she'd just slide back in with a shrug and a promise. I didn't respond. Not because I was angry anymore, but because I genuinely didn't know what I'd say and didn't feel the need to say anything at all. By then, things were quiet. Beautifully, eerily quiet. The apartment felt different. Lighter. I'd moved her things out the day after the dinner. No rage. No burning clothes or smashed dishes. I packed everything neatly, labeled it all, left it in the lobby storage with a kind message for pickup. She never came. Not once. I guess some people can't face what they've destroyed. I bought a new rug, put up my own artwork, replaced the silverware that she always hated but I secretly loved. Little things, sure, but they felt like pieces of myself I was finally letting breathe. And here's the part one didn't expect. I started to laugh again. Real, unexpected laughter. I'd forgotten how that felt. At a movie, during lunch with a friend I'd lost touch with. At a farmer's market, tasting honey samples from an old man who swore bees could cure heartbreak. It wasn't some dramatic rebound or overnight transformation. Just quiet joy. Subtle. Real. A few weeks later, I ran into Tessa again. Total accident. Grocery store, of all places. She was holding 2 bags of frozen peas and looked like she was trying to choose which one betrayed her less. We both froze for a second and then laughed. Like, actually laughed. We got coffee after. No talk of them. No bitterness. Just 2 people who'd walked through fire and realized they weren't ashes. She told me she was moving on. New place. New job. New energy. She didn't want to be the bitter wife. Neither did I. And that's when I realized something. I wasn't trying to win anymore. Not against Mallory. Not against Marlon. Not even against my past self. I didn't need to prove anything. The peace I felt wasn't about revenge or making her pay. It was about finally feeling like I could breathe in a room she didn't own. I never did meet with her. She sent one more message. I miss you. I made a mistake. I left it on read. Because maybe she did miss me. Maybe she did regret it. But by the time she realized what she had lost, I had already outgrown the version of me who needed her to see it. I didn't need her to come back, because I had already returned to myself.